All right, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Mind Over Matter. Today's topic would be the power of mindset shift and personal development. And to discuss that, we have Ayman Fahim joining us from Peshawar, Pakistan. And the topics that we'll be discussing under this broad topic would be power of words, subconscious reprogramming, and law of attraction. So let's welcome Ayman. Ayman, welcome to Mind Over Matter.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you.
So please, if you can quickly introduce yourself and then move towards the topic.
Okay, so hi everyone. This is Ayman Fahim, and I have a degree in Masters in English Literature, and after that I served in a university, Fatma Jinnah Women University, for about 1.5 years, and later I did certain courses in personal development. I recently completed my NLP practitioner level training, and I did the Science of Wellbeing course and the Positive Psychology from different universities abroad. And right now I'm doing 2 more courses. One is the Neuroscience of Personal Excellence from the University of Colorado Boulder, and the other one is the Emotional Intelligence and Aspiring Leader from the Case Western Reserve. Clients online to coach them in their lives. And that's it about me.
Let's move on towards the topic. Please, you can begin.
Okay, so we have 3 topics today, and all three of them are related to one another. So the first one is power of words. Words are really important in terms of shaping your reality, and in that case, we always see people telling us, and different podcasts, that you have to use good words for yourself and for other people. And we see that in our culture as well when we say something, so that people, they come over and they typically say, कि अच्छे अल्फाज यूज करो, कबूलियत का वक्त हो सकता है कभी भी. So the words, they are really important, and we have to use them in terms of our own personal development and for other people as well. The reason for saying this is because there is a frequency that every word has, and everything in this universe has. So when you're saying, I'm not good enough, I can't do well in a certain thing, you are actually putting it out in the universe, and this statement becomes a direct suggestion to your unconscious mind, and then you see that happening in your life. In fact, Fahad, you and I, we manifested this podcast because you told me that you are interested in personal development, and I do the same in my life. So this conversation, we actually manifested this. So the power of words is really important, and I frequently used to see myself talking negatively to myself. So एक जब अपने आप से बात करें या किसी और से करें या किसी के बारे में करें, so make sure it is good, intentional, and something that is empowering. So
Absolutely.
Words are really important, and it reminds me of Japanese experiment that a person did on plants. He did it on plants, and he could see that कुछ plants उसने रखे, and उस पे वो कुछ पे अच्छे अल्फाज बोलता था हर प्लांट को जाके, and कुछ पे वो, and it was the same was done on water as well. तो different चीजों में उन्होंने water रखा, and he used to say good words to one specific jar, and he would use bad words for the other jar, and he could see that जो plants थे, they were growing really well. And same went with the jar जिसके लिए अच्छे अल्फाज यूज किए गए थे, जिसके अंदर पानी था, that was also good. And he analyzed the structure of the water droplets under microscope. It was very beautiful and symmetrical in shape. So when they analyzed the plant जिसके लिए अच्छे अल्फाज नहीं यूज किए गए थे, वो मुरझा गया. It was not doing well. And same happened with the jar of the water, जिसके लिए अच्छे अल्फाज नहीं यूज किए गए, उसके जो उन्होंने droplets, they analyzed it under microscope, they were asymmetrical. So जो power of words है, that is really important. And especially जो parents हैं, if I talk about the generation जिससे हमारे parents belong करते हैं, they were very negative They would use negative connotations. They would compare their kids with other kids, and because of that, the self-esteem of the kids was down. And I think abhi jo recently I'm seeing a shift in the parental practices, that parents are trying their level best कि वो अपने बच्चों को empower करें, to just tell them that they did well and they can do well in life, but do not compare them with other people, and do not, pressurize them under societal norms in that sense. So jo words hain, they are really powerful in that sense.
Indeed.
And अगर पर्सनल डेवलपमेंट पे हम आए तो हम लाइफ में कुछ भी अगर करना चाहते हैं, फॉर इंस्टेंस आई वाज डूइंग टीचिंग, जब मुझे यूनिवर्सिटी वालों ने दे अप्रोच्ड मी दैट वी वुड वांट यू टू बी अ टीचर इन आवर यूनिवर्सिटी. I was talking negatively to myself. I was like, okay, so I'm not worth it, but why did they call me? How can it be possible? सारा नेगेटिव जो है ना वो मोनोलॉग अपने आप के साथ चल रहा था. And then one of my friends, she came up to me, she was like, why would they call you? Because you got the distinction, you did so well. Like, she was actually seeing the journey that I had been through, and she was like, you have to focus on the good things that you have and not talk negatively to yourself. So then I just said yes to the university, and I had a really great time in the university teaching the students. In fact, I learned a lot from them. So words are really powerful. Either you talk to yourself or to other people. So जो लोग भी हमें देख रहे हैं उनको मैं यही सजेस्ट करूँगी कि don't get hard on yourself. आपका कोई इम्तिहान है, कुछ भी है, just say good words to you, to yourself and to other people. And one thing that is important is जब आपसे when someone is in किसी के साथ आपकी नहीं बनती, you see certain people criticizing you, and they are like, okay, so you did, like कुछ लोग pinpoint करते हैं आपके weaknesses को. ये याद रखिए, you do not have to answer them, because वो जिस frequency पे वो इंसान काम कर रहा है, that is very low. And you don't have to go down to their level. अक्सर हम सोचते हैं ना कि आप में और उसमें फ़र्क क्या रह जाएगा. Actually, the universe में ही frequencies हैं. So you have to try your level best to stay away from such energy drainers, and you have to not use negative words back at them, because you're giving your energy to them.
Yeah, yeah.
And you have to keep it in mind that your energy is precious. You have to use it on good, positive things. So regarding the power of words, I think एक बड़ा सवाल जो अभी लोगों के दिमागों में भी आ रहा होगा कि what do we do so that we start thinking positively, we start this positive monologue with ourselves and with other people as well. The first thing is subconscious reprogramming. So अभी ये जो podcast में I'll be talking about subconscious को I would call it as unconscious, because sub जो है ना, that actually demeans and lowers the power of unconscious mind. It is used the same way, but जिनसे मैंने पढ़ा अरसलान लारिक से, my teacher, my mentor, he said that you should call it unconscious mind, because it knows more than your conscious mind. So the thing is that in order to reprogram it, आपने क्या करना है, जो अभी आपकी present state है, either you are depressed or sad or whatever, either you have anxiety or depression, you have worked hard on it. आपने उस पे मेहनत की है. आपने कैसे मेहनत की है? Because a certain thing happened to you in your life and you didn't like it, and आपको था यार मुझे किसी ने बुरा कह दिया, whatever, and you repeated it over and over and over again in your mind to yourself. उस इंसान ने एक दफा किया and you repeated it to yourself 1,000 times. उसने बुरा किया या आपने बुरा किया अपने साथ? You are not kind to yourself in that manner. So if we look at the neuroscience of the physiology of the brain, we know that they say the neurons that wire together fire together. Sorry, the neurons that fire together wire together. Fire together का मतलब ये है कि आपके दिमाग में एक थॉट आई, सही है, उस टाइम पे जो न्यूरॉन्स का जो साइनेप्टिक कनेक्शन था वो स्ट्रेंथन हो गया. जब दोबारा आपने वही सोचा या किसी को वो करते देखा या आपने खुद वो किया,
Yeah.
दोबारा कनेक्शन स्ट्रांग हो गया, एंड इट हैज बीन गोइंग ऑन फॉर years in your life. So what has happened is कि आप उसी डिप्रेसिव स्टेट में, उसी एंजाइटी में उसी चीज को अपने साथ रिपीट कर रहे हैं. सो जो साइनेप्टिक गैप है या जो कनेक्शन है उसको आपने loosen करना है. That is what we talk about in neurolinguistic programming. We ask the client the relevant questions and we ask them certain questions जो उनके दिमाग में like होते हैं कि I never thought about it in that manner, and then they take on the responsibility of their lives. So we talk about that. So at the end, we create newer neural pathways for our clients, which is, again, we create new neural connections in their minds, the positive connections, and we strengthen the synaptic connections of those neurons. And loosen up the negative patterns होता है उनके mind में.
Yeah.
So subconscious reprogramming के लिए एक तो सबसे पहला important step जो है, that is to be at cause. What does it mean to be at cause? There are two concepts that we learned in neurolinguistic programming. The first one is at effect, and the second is to be at cause. At effect is अगर आपके पास कोई बंदा आता है, कोई भी client आता है that comes to you and says, okay, so मेरे से तो कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा, मैं अपने जो है ना वो हालात के सामने helpless हूँ अपनी life में, I can't do well, everyone is out there to get me, हर कोई मुझे criticize करता है, हर कोई ये करता है, वो करता है. What does that mean? That means that your client is at effect, and most of the times the client comes to you that is at effect. अच्छा, इसके लिए एक चीज और ये कि जो लोग भी हमें देख रहे हैं, इट डजंट मीन दैट यू हैव टू डू द कोर्स एंड यू हैव टू बी द कोच. जनरल लाइफ में आप देखें, आपके पास कोई बंदा आता है दैट सेज कि यार मेरे से तो कुछ हो नहीं रहा, दैट मीन्स दैट दे आर एट इफेक्ट, दे आर नॉट एट कॉज. जब आप एट इफेक्ट होते हैं, आपके इमोशनल स्टेट्स हाई होते हैं, आप हर चीज को इमोशनली एनालाइज कर रहे हैं, एंड देन फिर वो रोना धोना वो सब स्टार्ट होता है आपका. स्पेशली विमेन को देखती हूँ, they have a lot of problems, but then they are focusing on the problem and that focusing on the thing that they have no power. But then there are a lot of other women who in the same situation created breakthroughs from themselves. So to be at effect, you have to get out of yourself, you have to be in charge of your life. Because when you are at effect, when you're like मेरे से कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा, हर चीज खराब है, ये वो, मेरी किस्मत ही बुरी है, then you are disempowered. आप में empowerment आ ही नहीं रही, आपकी life disempowerment है, and then you will be blaming, shaming, and giving justifications for the situation in your life.
When you say these negative things about yourself, and it makes a bigger impact on you, a bigger negative impact on you versus what other people tell you. Okay, you
Exactly.
can do it. You are not good enough. Vagara vagara. So
Yeah.
maybe as you said it earlier, they might have said it once or twice, but you are not with them all the time. Maybe you are with them 20% of the time you have, but for the 80% of the rest of the day, you are with your own thoughts, और आप अपने साथ ही होते हैं. And that is the time when you keep on repeating that in your mind that I'm not good enough. I think the things that start going south is going down is when you accept it, and then you start repeating what they have to say about you. And similarly, what you talked about in the beginning about the manifestation is, वो इसके when you talk to yourself, you say good things to yourself, and then things start happening in your favor. So I think ये सब चीजें related ही हैं, and it's important that, and even before knowing about these concepts, the power of words, I didn't know about it back in the day, but I did not know, but I naturally found out that if I do a good self-talk, if I'm not able to achieve a certain thing, or if I'm going on a stage to do something and I don't have the right confidence in place, या मुझे लगता है कि I'm nervous or I won't be able to do the certain task a certain way, then I would just sit down, कमरा बंद करके, I would sit down and I'll just talk to myself. You can do it.
Yeah.
You got it. You got this. You got this. And eventually, when I would come out of the room, I'd have a different confidence, and I'd be able to perform better. So I think ये even if you know about it or not, naturally, अगर if anyone does that, if he has the right words for himself,
Yeah,
right thoughts, changes happen, changes do happen.
exactly. So I don't know about men that much, but I have friends and clients, especially women. तो उनका ये होता है they need emotional support, a lot of emotional support, and so they're like, okay, so this one person is going to come and change our life. That's not gonna happen.
Definitely, yes. I think that's a cultural thing more than
Cultural thing,
a
yeah,
psychological thing. And
exactly,
for men, the culture tells us that you cannot be emotional, you cannot rely on somebody. So we just
yeah,
rely on ourselves more 99% of times. Doesn't mean that
yeah,
we are managing it very well, but I mean, we show it that we are
exactly,
managing it well because we are not supposed to tell others that we need some external force to push us
yeah,
or to have an anchor in times of crisis. So I think that's a cultural thing. Because if you look at the
yeah,
Western side of the world, situation is pretty different.
yeah, very
Women
different.
are they handle themselves better than of what our women do. And unfortunately, that's our fault, but that's another day's discussion. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
So
understand.
what you were talking about is that when you said that we have to have this positive self-talk, and you
Yeah.
analyzed and realized that as well. It reminded me of Mel Robbins जो कहती हैं, she says that no one's coming to push you, no one's coming to change your life. You are the in charge of your life, and you have to change it. And इसी तरह जो Jim Rohn, he's one of the famous philosophers that he passed away recently, and his lectures are really they resonate a lot with me. And he says that regarding past, आपके साथ past में जो कुछ भी हुआ, take that as a tough school. You think about कि मैं एक tough school में गया था, I learned
जी,
the lesson, and keep the lessons in front of you
जी,
rather than thinking
जी,
about it again and again, and you
हाँ,
know mentally अपने आप को मत थकाएं उसमें.
जी,
And another thing would be, he says, learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your
जी,
job. So जब आप पर्सनल डेवलपमेंट में आगे जाएंगे, देन आपके लिए जॉब आसान होगी, बट आप पर्सनली डेवलप नहीं हुए तो आप कैसे आगे जाएंगे?
absolutely.
या सो जो सबकॉन्शियस रीप्रोग्रामिंग के टॉपिक पे दोबारा अगर हम आए, तो उसमें वन तो ये है कि यू हैव टू बी एट कॉज, यू हैव टू हैव दिस माइंडसेट कि मैं अपनी लाइफ का इंचार्ज हूँ, आई हैव टू चेंज माई लाइफ.
बिल्कुल.
ठीक है. व्हेन यू हैव दैट विल पावर, देन यू कैन चेंज योर लाइफ. एंड उसमें दो चीजें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हैं. व्हाट इज द लास्ट थिंग दैट यू डू बिफोर गोइंग टू बेड, एंड व्हाट इज द
First
फर्स्ट
thing
थिंग दैट यू डू
when
in
you
the
wake
morning. Oh, we have balloons.
up.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
So,
They just
yeah,
pop.
no, when I do this, so I
Oh,
think
makes
they come.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
yeah. So,
Okay. So the first thing
so
the last thing that you think about when you go to sleep,
yeah, yeah,
and when you
yeah,
wake up, the first thing that comes to your mind or that thing that you
exactly.
think of.
यस. सो उसमें जो परफेक्ट सिनेरियो है, दैट कैन बी, आप रात को जब सोने लगे उससे आधा घंटा पहले आप कोई भी ऐसा मोटिवेशनल स्पीच लगा लें अपने लिए, कोई भी एफर्मेशंस की वीडियो लगा लें. स्कोवल फ्लोरेंस शिन के बहुत अच्छे जो है ना वो एफर्मेशंस यूट्यूब पर पड़े हुए हैं, यू कैन प्ले देम फॉर यू. उसमें यह है कि इवन इफ यू फॉल asleep ड्यूरिंग दैट टाइम, आपका अनकॉन्शियस उसको सुन रहा है
जी.
और वो ले रहा है डायरेक्शंस. इट्स मोर लाइक हिप्नोसिस में जिस तरह होता है. ठीक है.
Absolutely.
तो वो उसको ले रहा है, एंड देन जब मॉर्निंग में आप उठें, यू डू एग्जैक्टली द सेम थिंग. या फिर आप ऐसे कर सकते हैं कि यू डोंट चेक योर फोन, यू आइदर हैव अ सेल्फ हेल्प बुक. ठीक है. आप वो खोल के पढ़ लें, उसमें से कुछ लेसन्स ले लें, उसको कहीं पे लिख लें. तो आपका जो जो लास्ट थॉट थी रात में और जो दिन में, क्योंकि उस वक्त आपका दिमाग ऐसे स्टेट में होता है कि वो ले सकता है, अनकॉन्शियस आपका जो वो
Yes.
ले सकता है, वो उसके अंदर नए साइनेप्टिक कनेक्शंस बन रहे होते हैं आपके न्यूरॉन्स में. सो दैट इज रियली इम्पोर्टेंट. उस तरीके से आप अपने लिए सब जो अनकॉन्शियस है उसकी रिप्रोग्रामिंग कर सकते हैं, एंड देन यू कैन बी सक्सेसफुल इन योर लाइफ एंड डू द थिंग्स दैट यू वांट टू
Actually, I
डू.
have
बट
a
अगर
question
आप
here before you move further with this.
या
So, do you have any clients who ask you, Eamon, how much time would it take for me to um, manifest and get what I'm actually manifesting for? I mean, because
Okay.
this question thing is, I have also tried the manifestation um, techniques once.
Yeah.
I mean, in a particular phase of my life, and I'm not going to get into details of what I achieved out of it or not, or what was the overall impact of it, because it would vary based off of different things. It would vary person to person. But my
Yeah.
question to you would be, आपको क्या लगता है कि if somebody is performing the manifestation techniques, then
Yeah.
how long it should take somebody to actually start seeing results if um, there is any concrete evidence of manifestation, and if you actually get something from back from the universe, if
Okay.
you could put it that way.
Okay. So आप टाइम का पूछ रहे हैं कि टाइम कितना लगता है, like how long does it take?
Now, from a
Manifest.
basic mindset, it's not my question, but
Okay.
a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah,
people
yeah.
would be thinking,
So
ask.
regarding my clients, if I talk, most of them, when I'm coaching them, they're in good state, ठीक है? But उसमें जब एक दो दिन का gap आ जाता है, so then they're like, okay, I ask them, how are you doing? They're like, okay, so the thing's not happening and I'm not doing well. The problem is that you don't have to wait for the thing to happen. You just have to feel the feeling. You have your eyes closed or not, you have to feel that that thing has already happened.
Yeah.
And वही religion में हमारा आ जाता है ना, वो शुक्रगुजारी का जो एक वो है कि you have to be happy in the moment and you're like, okay, thank God this has happened. I think this has happened and this is going to happen. So वो फिर आपको उस frequency में place करता है वो mindset, वो state कि आप उस तक बहुत आसानी से पहुंच सकते हो. But when you are waiting, you're actually running after it. You won't have it then.
I have a example for you, for everybody who's watching and listening. So मैं अपना personal experience बताता हूँ. So that might help people understand how it actually works. Even though I'm not an expert, but so what used to happen was when I started practicing manifestation, रात को सोने से पहले, I would start this YouTube video जिसके अंदर now there are different sort of, जैसा आपने कहा, there are different videos available, so and
Yeah.
audio is available. So not every audio is for everyone. For you,
Yeah.
would be different. For me, for example, I'm a runner, I'm a marathon runner. Then I would want to listen to something like I can run faster, I can beat everybody else, I can win this gold, etc. So it would vary. So I would listen to a certain uh, uh, piece of audio when I would go to sleep, and I did that for a couple of days, and week after week I did that, and I thought to myself one day, okay, it's not working, because it wasn't.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe I'm either I'm not doing it right, or maybe it's just what do you call it? Not, I don't want to use the word scam, but it seemed like maybe it's just a theory or the make believe or something. So
Yeah.
I just kind of left it over there, and I was like, okay, it's not gonna work. Just leave it. So I took another approach. I thought, okay, fine, this is not working. So let me just keep on working on my objectives physically, and let me just work on it. Since it is not, the manifestation is not working, to hell with it. I just keep on working on
Yeah.
it. I hope it works
Yeah.
out. Then I kept on working on it. At times I was motivated. I just continued doing my work. At times I just was completely demotivated, and I just discontinued. But long story short, at that time it did not work for me. And then eventually I stopped doing any of these activities or techniques, and I totally forgot about it. After a while, one day I was sitting, and then I realized that this is something, this feels like something I used to manifest about. So
Yeah.
it turned out that at times you have to be patient. You need to wait for the right moment as well. It is not
Yeah.
necessarily mean, if you are doing this, that you would achieve it right away, or let's say after a certain amount
Yeah.
of time. So I think if somebody would ask me, my answer would be, not being an expert, my answer would be, you need to have patience, and you need
Yeah.
ask for it from the universe, but at the same time, you have to kind of forget about it as well at the same time.
Yeah.
And if I keep on thinking about it 24/7, that I'm
Yeah.
imagining a Ferrari, I want that particular red Ferrari. How am I gonna get it? Like, it doesn't make any sense. If I have like $20,000 and it is worth $40,000, how in the world it's not gonna come off of, mm, it's gonna छत फाड़ के तो नहीं आएगी ना मेरे पास. So you have to keep on
Exactly.
working on the logistics of it, or the practicalities of it at the same time, and keep on thinking positively that it might work out.
Yeah.
And also, it might not work exactly the way I imagined it. Maybe I don't get a Ferrari, maybe I get an Audi or some other car.
Yeah.
So जरूरी नहीं है कि exactly वो उसी तरह हो जैसा आपने picture किया. But at the end of the day, if you have the right thoughts, I can attest to that. It will eventually work out for you. And अभी पिछले episode
Yeah.
में, in I think third or second episode में भी एक guest से बात हो रही थी. So मैं उनको ये बता रहा था कि I was a little bit crazy when I was a kid. I used to dream of things जो हो ही नहीं सकती थी कभी लाइफ में, at least not in mine. And if I tell anybody, they would laugh on me. So मैं ये सोचता था कि यार ये बताना नहीं है किसी को, but ये अचीव करना है लाइफ में. So eventually वो one after another, फिर क्या होता गया कि मैं अपनी चीजें अचीव करता गया. I kept a secret diary जिसमें मैं मेरा वो to achieve करके एक लिस्ट थी मेरी, मैं वो बनाता था. So वो करते 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 वो I kept on crossing it. फिर वो खत्म हो गई. फिर I was like okay, ये तो फिर मैं कंटेनमेंट खत्म हो गई. मैंने कहा यार अब मजा नहीं आ रहा, I need something else. तो मैं फिर ऐड करता गया, फिर उसको क्रॉस आउट करता गया, करते 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 I got here. एंड अब क्या है, अब आई एम मेकिंग न्यू गोल्स. सो सिर्फ और सिर्फ बताने का मकसद ये है कि यू इवेंचुअली गेट देयर एज लॉन्ग एज यू वांट इट हार्ड इनफ. एक और हमारी गेस्ट थी पिछले पॉडकास्ट में, उन्होंने बड़ी अच्छी बात बोली कि यू डोंट स्टॉप ड्रीमिंग. ड्रीम्स आर फॉर पीपल हु स्लीप. यू आर सपोज टू स्टे अप एंड यू नीड
Yeah.
टू चेज योर ड्रीम्स. सो वो एक बड़ी अच्छी बात है. उस तरीके से अगर फिलोसफी के हिसाब से देखें तो बड़ी अच्छी मजेदार.
Exactly.
So, but it would
Ex-
vary on your
From
scenario.
person to
But
person.
how do
Yeah.
you go about it?
Exactly. So when you अभी आपने जब अपना situation बताया, so वही बात है कि जब आप when you were waiting for it to happen, it didn't happen. But when you let it go, it happened. तो जब आप किसी चीज के पीछे भाग रहे होते हैं ना, ये यूनिवर्स का डिजाइन ऐसा है, तो आपकी फ्रीक्वेंसी लो लेवल पे है.
Hmm.
But when you either worked on it or not from time to time, but you let it go, उस चीज के पीछे आप ज्यादा नहीं भागे, आपकी फ्रीक्वेंसी एकदम हाई होगी. Because you are more focused on doing the thing. उससे पहले आपका था on it to happen कि कब होगी. So वही बात है कि letting it go and also feeling कि ये हो जाएगा, या बिल्कुल आप उससे बिल्कुल वो हो जाए, किनारा कशी इख्तियार करना है. So
But it's a bit
just then
difficult
happened.
to have the both things going on at the same time in your mind कि भाई मुझे चाहिए या मुझे नहीं चाहिए. So it's a bit difficult. You need a certain
Yeah,
level of maturity to understand where
exactly.
the balance is. क्योंकि it's very difficult at times
It is,
because कुछ
it is.
जादू तो हो नहीं रहा ना. Manifestation is not magic.
Exactly.
So and आप एक बड़ी, it's a very weird thing I'll share with you, Ayman, कि
Okay.
you're not the first person who is telling me that आपने manifest किया तो ये podcast हो रही है. Because I've had this conversation with multiple people before. They told me that they had this on their vision board. There's something called vision
Yeah,
board. आपको ज़्यादा पता होगा, you
yeah.
person. So she said कि I imagined it and I didn't know how it would actually happen. Didn't seem like it will happen, but all of us, because she wasn't working in that direction. But she
Okay.
envisioned herself sitting in a podcast talking about something, and she said, "I envisioned it in as part of the New Year resolution, या ऐसा कुछ." And I think एक महीने बाद I contacted her. So वो किसी ना
Yeah,
किसी तरीके से चीज हो जाती है. And there is this
yeah,
therapist. She resides in I think western side of the Europe, some European area. करीन पाम, जिनके साथ मैंने पहला एपिसोड.
yeah.
सो इसी तरह की बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग बातें उन्होंने भी बताई, स्पेशली वो वाला पार्ट कि आप जब सुबह उठ के जो चीज़ बोलते हैं,
Exactly.
you also impacts the rest of your day as well. So
Yeah.
our words definitely
Exactly.
great.
And one of the reasons के जो हमारा है ना कि रिलीजन में लाइक, या बेशक जो भी आपका बिलीफ सिस्टम हो,
जी
कि आप जो दुआ करते हैं लाइक रात को सोने से पहले दुआ
जी
करें, या सुबह के टाइम का भी जो होता है कि सुबह के टाइम, बिकॉज जो यूनिवर्स है या जो जिसमें भी आप बिलीव करते हैं, वो एनर्जी हाईएस्ट लेवल पे है. सो वो आपको उससे कनेक्ट कर देती है. तो आपका अपना जो ऑरा है सोल का, दैट बिकम्स वेरी वाइब्रेंट. दैट इज व्हाई अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल दैट वी मीट हमें बहुत ऑथेंटिक लगते हैं, एंड वी रियली आर अट्रैक्टेड टू देम, कि हम उनके साथ बैठ के बात करें या क्या. सो दैट इज वन ऑफ द रीजंस.
दैट्स एन इंटरेस्टिंग फैक्ट कि हर बंदे का एक
या
अपना ऑरा है, एंड यू वाइल एक बंदा आपको बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग लग रहा है, दूसरा बंदा यू डोंट फील लाइक.
बिल्कुल.
और उसकी एक टर्मिनोलॉजी
एग्जैक्टली.
आ गई है, यू कॉल इट वाइबिंग. यू डोंट वाइब विद वन पर्सन एंड यू आर वाइबिंग विद द अदर, सो यू वाइब.
एग्जैक्टली.
सो वो थोड़ा सा जेनजी वर्ड है आई थिंक, ये वाइब वाला.
या
So, but at
एंड
the end of the day, the meaning is the same. So,
yeah, no, you know, we often catch ourselves saying, I don't get along well with that person,
yeah,
you
बस
know.
इसका एक थोड़ा
So
different version है ये.
yeah, and one of the most amazing things is कि जो kids होते हैं, छोटे बच्चे होते हैं, they are very good at catching on to energies and auras. वो किसी ऐसे बंदे के पास नहीं जाएंगे जिसका frequency low है. They would go to a person who is compassionate, loving, you know, जिसका
Absolutely.
दिल साफ है,
जी हाँ.
and they're attracted to that person. So that is how things work. And regarding the law of attraction, if I talk about that, so abhi jo humne baat ki, power of words and reprogramming the subconscious mind, I think these both pave a way for a person to attract the best things in their lives. And so बहुत से अब ख़वातीन के साथ मेरा ज़्यादा इंटरेक्शन होता है, so I can talk about this. A lot of women, they are the victims of their own distorted imagination. ठीक है. For instance, घर में अगर कुछ अच्छा नहीं, that means के खुद ही से scenarios बनाना, worst
बिल्डअप
case
करना.
scenario. Yeah. So a lot of women, I think they would agree with me on that, क्योंकि मैं day to day I am talking to women on different stuff that they're going through. So अगर उनकी लाइफ में कुछ अच्छा नहीं हो रहा, so they would imagine the worst case scenario for themselves. Why do you do that? अब जैसे उनको घर में for instance husband के साथ she doesn't get along well, या husband ने उनको कुछ कह दिया, so she would just imagine that she gets cancer, like something like that. It appears to be, but I have seen most women doing that, so that she would think that she gets into this one very serious ailment, and then she would see that all the people are feeling sorry for not taking care of her and not being the best with.
That
समझ आ
perspective.
रही है
Yeah,
आपको?
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
women tend to say this. A lot of times my
exactly.
mom says this कि मुझे ये हो जाएगा ना तो तुम्हें फिर कदर होगी. I understand
Exactly.
that where you're coming from, where this thing comes from. Yes, yes.
Yeah. तो ये women के साथ तो बहुत है. Men don't say things. अब मैं इतने expressive नहीं है पाकिस्तानी culture में, if I talk about that. But with women, this is the thing, that they do this. And so जो एक idea है prosperity consciousness, जिसकी Bob Proctor भी अपनी book में बात करता है, You Were Born Rich, regarding money वो बात करता है, but prosperity consciousness can be about anything else as well. कि you are meant to prosper in this life. आप सांस ले रहे हैं, इतना बड़ा तोहफा है अल्लाह ताला का.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
And
can
you have
see,
been made
you can
ashraful makhluqat. You are not just
exactly.
any being. You are the human
Yeah,
kind, and you are the greatest creation of God.
exactly.
तो
And
आप
so
अगर कुछ भी अचीव नहीं कर पा रहे हैं तो दैट मीन्स इट्स ऑन यू. बिकॉज वो
exactly.
अक्सर हम ये सारी बातें करते हैं. कल एक बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग चीज पे मैं पढ़ रहा था. उस पे लिखा हुआ था कि आइंस्टाइन की चीज था कि ही आई थिंक इन्हीं की बात थी कि ही यूज्ड टू वेयर द सेम सेट ऑफ क्लोथ्स एवरी डे. और उसके खैर उसके पीछे जो जो भी चीज थी वो एक अलग टॉपिक है. बट हाँ, मैं ये बात करना चाहता था कि आइंस्टाइन के बारे में भी ये था कि he only got to explore or open up a little very little chamber of his brain. मतलब 20% या पता नहीं कितना परसेंट आउट ऑफ 100. सो वो what he achieved
Yeah,
out of it was unbelievable back in the time what he.
exactly.
और हम लोग in this time when we know all these neuro linguistic techniques, सारी चीजें मौजूद हैं, all the books are there, yet we are limiting ourselves
Yeah,
just because we just think of ourselves too little कि हम ये नहीं कर
yeah,
सकते. So I think
exactly.
it starts from within.
Exactly, it starts from within. And so the idea that law of attraction में ये भी है कि अगर जैसे अभी आपको मैं कहूँ कि spot brown things in your room, if I
हम्म,
ask you कि brown चीजों को आप अपने
जी
कमरे में गिने कितनी brown है,
जी
so you would tell me 5 या 6, ठीक है?
हम्म,
Then I'll ask you उसमें जब आप brown गिन रहे थे तो blue कितनी थी?
जी
You would not have an answer for that. Why?
हम्म,
Because it is very easy to ignore something that you're not looking
not looking
for.
for
So what are you doing? Your जितने भी लोग depressed हैं या जिनको anxiety है, they have worked hard on it and they have actually looked for anxiety in all the worst case scenarios in their lives. And so because of that, they can't see the positivity
yeah
because it is easy to ignore the positivity because they're not looking for it.
but if you'll tell them, if you are not
Yeah.
somebody who is a therapist or somebody who's related to psycho, what is it called? If you are not a
Psychoanalysis.
psychiatrist or psychoanalyst, then there's a high chance that if you'll tell somebody, for example, अगर मैं आके बोलूंगा आपको कि नहीं आप बहुत ज्यादा overthink कर रही हैं, you can actually overcome these things. कोई इतना बड़ा मसला नहीं है.
Yeah,
You would think in your mind या बोलेंगी आपको क्या पता मेरी situation, आप थोड़ी जानते हैं. I
exactly.
cannot do it. I cannot. मुझे मेरे ये surroundings में problems हैं. आपके होते तो आपको पता होता. Put yourself in my shoe and tell. So
Exactly.
आप नहीं मानेंगी. That is, I think
Yeah.
I guess humans are like that. We have a heart where we
No,
have a tendency to not
yeah,
really
because
accept some
I
other
have been
people's
through the same.
beliefs.
I had anxiety at one point in my life. And so when people would be like, what happened and stuff like that, I would
I
say,
know
and
where this
they'd
is
be like,
going.
tension na lo, tension
कि,
na lo. And
uh,
you'd be like, मैं नहीं
सोचने
लेना
से क्या
चाह रही.
होगा?
I,
तुम
yeah,
सोचती बहुत हो. सोचने से ये हो
exactly.
जाता है. So,
Yeah.
well, see, their intention is right.
Exactly. They are
Intention is
never,
wrong. And सही बात है, आप you shouldn't आप टेंशन नहीं लें. लेकिन if it would work like that, things would have been easier. इसीलिए people like you
exactly,
are very valuable in this world.
exactly.
People who are practicing anything that would help others for that would help with the improvement of their mental health,
Exactly.
confidence build up करने में.
I think the one of the difference between a layman and the coach is कि layman को अगर आप बताएंगे ना कि मेरा ये problem है तो वो आपको कहेंगे टेंशन ना लो. But what the coach does is they hold space for you. They listen to you.
Yeah, they would ask questions and probe.
Yeah, appropriate questions and then they
Come up with a
give
specific
you
answer.
metaphors. आपको metaphorical stories वो सुनाते हैं जो
Hmm.
कोच होते हैं कि
Hmm.
उसके साथ भी ये हुआ था तो तुम्हारे साथ अगर हो रहा है it is going to end up in something better.
Absolutely.
या बट जो लेमैन है वो कहेगा यार तुम तो नाशुक्री हो रही हो या तुम्हें शुक्र नहीं है खुदा का, समथिंग लाइक दैट.
Hmm.
So it can be very dangerous in that sense because a lot of people they are suicidal as well. तो आप उनको अगर कुछ ऐसा कह रहे हैं which is not a good choice of words, उनकी लाइफ खतरे में है फिर.
For
So
sure.
words बहुत important है
And how much,
कि
Eamon, do you think is the importance of uh, killing sorry, killing not the right word, but destroying the this this what is it called? Um, this taboo of
Mhm.
going to a psychiatrist or a psychologist. It's still a taboo, right? If
Yeah,
somebody is telling you to go see a psychiatrist और साइकोलॉजिस्ट सो क्या होता है कि जो बंदा बोल रहा है ही काइंड ऑफ फाइंड इट कि आप यू आर एट सम सॉर्ट ऑफ फॉल्ट.
पागल है आप.
वो इन
Yeah,
वो एक अच्छी अच्छी पोजीशन में दे आर सेन यू हैव अ प्रॉब्लम, वो आपको उस तरह भेज रहे हैं और जिसको बोला जा रहा है मैं कहूंगा डू यू थिंक आई एम मैड, मैं पागल लग रहा हूँ आपको, आप मुझे कह रहे
yeah,
हो. सो इन आइदर केस ये सोसाइटी के हिसाब से अगर मैं किसी साइकियाट्रिस्ट को देख रहा हूँ कुड बी फॉर एनी रीजन माइनर और मेजर
yeah,
and maybe I'm improving as well, but अगर मैं जाके randomly अपने किसी दोस्त या किसी को बताऊंगा, so they might also make fun of me and say कि अरे इसके लिए जाने की क्या जरूरत, मुझसे पूछते तो मैं बता देता तुम्हें. So and
exactly,
they might gossip about it, वो दूसरों को बताएंगे ये तो साइकियाट्रिस्ट के पास जाता है, ये तो ये. So this is a
exactly.
problem in our society overall as well. बाहर नहीं है, काफी ये
Mhm.
ठीक हो गया. I have a friend who recently told me and we also at one point me and my wife we discussed the वो of care there should be relationship counseling as well that which should be
Yeah,
very regular in our lives के जो couples हैं उनके पास होना चाहिए ऑप्शन प्री मैरिज
exactly.
काउंसलिंग और उसके बाद पोस्ट मैरिज काउंसलिंग सॉरी पोस्ट मैरिज सुनी क्या कहना चाहिए मतलब
Yeah,
शादी के दौरान की जो भी काउंसलिंग होती है आई डोंट नो
exactly.
व्हाट इज इट
Yeah,
कॉल्ड
yeah.
सो
So, you know,
इट्स
पे
इम्पोर्टेंट
फोकस ऑफ द सोसाइटी, अभी आप जो मैरिटल उसकी बात करें, काउंसलिंग, द थिंग इज ज्यादा हमारा फोकस है फंक्शन अच्छा हो जाए और बहुत अच्छा हो, लोग क्या कहेंगे, लाइक यू नो, बट द टू पीपल दैट आर कमिंग टुगेदर, इफ दे आर नॉट गेटिंग अलोंग, व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ यू नो हैविंग दिस बिग फंक्शन फॉर दैट?
यस
सो ये जो एक माइंडसेट है, it needs to change as well, I think, because people are going to talk no matter what you do.
Acha, on that note, I'll just announce a thing real quick. In one
Yeah.
of our upcoming podcasts, we'll have Dr. Sana Yasir, who is a
Okay.
relationship coach. So
Okay.
I think it would be a very मेरे लिए बहुत ज़्यादा इंटरेस्टिंग रहेगा
Yeah.
और मैं आपको भी टैग करूंगा if you get a chance आप वो
Sure one.
सुनिएगा क्योंकि I think there would be a lot of important takeaways from that
Yeah.
conversation. And I think if we are not getting enough courage to go see a relationship counselor or somebody
Yeah.
who can help us out, and most of the time we
Yeah.
think we need one, and rest of the times we are too shy to either.
Yeah. Even realize the problem. Most of the couples don't realize the problem
And
even.
it's not just a certain this क्या नाम है साइको सोशल और ये इस तरह के वो मेंटल जो उस पे काम करते हैं आपकी आपकी डिसेबिलिटीज पे या जो भी आप प्रॉब्लम फेस कर रहे हैं बल्कि एट द सेम टाइम वेरियस काइंड ऑफ डॉक्टर्स नॉर्मल डॉक्टर्स हम डरते हैं कि यार हम उस डॉक्टर के पास जाएंगे अभी आई एम फेसिंग दिस इशू मे बी आपको ऐसे मिसाल दे रहा हूँ कि मुझे अगर यहाँ पेन हो रहा है हार्ट में या
Yeah.
चेस्ट में तो मैं जाऊंगा नहीं मुझे लगेगा वो मुझे बोल देगा आपको हार्ट अटैक हो रहा है सो जस्ट टू अवॉइड दैट हम नहीं
Yeah.
जाते ऐसी बहुत सारी सिचुएशंस हैं जो हम जिसके लिए नहीं
Exactly.
जाते और लेकिन हो क्या रहा है अगर नहीं जा रहे हैं उस डर की वजह से हम उस डर में जी भी तो रहे हैं अगले 2 साल कि शायद मुझे ये है
Exactly.
शायद नहीं है तो उस चक्कर में नहीं भी है तो शायद हो जाए या मैं जाऊं और
Ex-
हो सकता है 2 मिनट में डॉक्टर मुझे कोई प्रिस्क्रिप्शन दे और वो ठीक हो जाए लेकिन
Yeah.
सो ये भी प्रॉब्लम है कि गोइंग टू अ
So
आई डोंट नो व्हाई इट
yeah.
इज डिफिकल्ट
Regarding the thing that you mentioned, जो अभी आपने बोला कि डॉक्टर के पास जाना और आना, it's a little थोड़ा साइड पे हम हो जाएंगे, but it is related to the topic. Louise Hay का अगर आपने नाम सुना हो, Louise Hay, she has been one of the top rated writer from the last century, and उन्होंने books भी लिखी हैं बहुत ज़्यादा. Uh, Regarding the law of attraction, she talks about कि उन्होंने अपना कैंसर नेचुरली कैसे हील किया. She had been diagnosed with cancer और उनका पूरा जो life journey है, that was a very tragic throughout. So when she had enough, when she got to know कि मतलब उनके 2 marriages, they were unsuccessful, she got divorced, and then later she got cancer. तो शी वाज लाइक कि मैं डॉक्टर्स के पास गई, मैंने उनको बोला कि मुझे तो अब मैं क्या करूँ, तो दे प्रिस्क्राइब्ड कि आपको कीमोथेरेपी आपकी होगी. तो शी वाज लाइक आई वाज एडैमेंट. मैंने उनको बोला कि मैं कीमोथेरेपी नहीं कराऊंगी, मैं नेचुरली आपको हील करके दिखाऊंगी. एंड डॉक्टर्स ने उनको टाइम फ्रेम दिया था कि आप इतने महीने जिंदा रहेंगी, आपने मर जाना है इफ यू डोंट गो फॉर कीमोथेरेपी एंड स्टफ लाइक दैट. एंड शी हील्ड इट नेचुरली. हाउ डिड शी हील्ड इट? Power of the words. She reprogrammed her unconscious mind, and because of having that law of attraction thing going on, she healed herself. So बहुत से, because these things, they change your physiology, they change your
इसी
emotions,
तरह
then
से
they change
आई
your
थिंक देखा जाता है कि a lot of athletes when they have an accident आपका स्पोर्ट रिलेटेड कोई इंजरी है या कोई इस तरह का एक्सीडेंट हो जाता है सो सॉरी
yeah,
सो सम ऑफ देम दे टेक द ड्यू कोर्स जितनी भी रिक्वायर्ड उसके 8-9 महीने का होता है पोस्ट सर्जरी या कुछ भी और वाइल एट द अदर एंड सम ऑफ देम दे जस्ट 2-3 महीने के अंदर रिकवर होके आ जाते हैं एंड देन दे गेट बैक ऑन द ग्राउंड सो इट्स ऑल
exactly.
अबाउट द आपका विल पावर एंड हाउ यू सी कि भाई मुझे हील होना है या आई डोंट फील लाइक
Yeah.
कि मैं 6 महीने रहूंगा बेड पे आई एम नॉट मेड फॉर दैट मैं एंड आई हैव हर्ड अ लॉट ऑफ
Yeah.
पीपल सेइंग दैट एज वेल एंड इन रियल लाइफ यू सी अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल विद लाइफ ऑल्टरिंग medical issues for example dialysis or this and that so
Hmm.
somebody have a pacemaker So some of them, they don't survive for long, and some of them who have very strong willpower. I've seen them
Yeah,
living for the next 20, 30 years and dying of something
yeah,
else altogether, not out of that. So I think it's all about
exactly.
that. As long as you're positive,
So
it works out for you.
yeah. So regarding that, it reminds me of no matter what the political affiliation of R is, I would like to quote about Imran Khan when he fell from, I mean, in 2013 when he was in a
Of
jungle.
the that platform.
Yeah, so I was wondering, he um, recovered so quickly, or us age mein, like he was 60 plus at that time maybe, or about to be 60. So he healed so quickly, and when he got shot in his foot,
But yeah,
again he
right,
healed.
yeah.
अगर कोई और होता so वो बेड रिडन ही हो जाता उनकी जगह पे, उनकी एज का अगर होता तो वो बेड रिडन हो जाता, but
You've
his
given a very good
willpower, I must.
example at the right wo. That tells them
So
what is it called? An athlete's mindset. I think it's also that.
exactly,
Because you're
sportsman
trained
spirit.
for that. You are trained to first avoid injuries, and then once you get injured, you are trained to heal faster than everybody else.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a very good
So
attitude.
that is,
Yeah.
yeah. So I often think, like, what does he do? And I would like to interview him sometime in future, maybe. Like how, because now he's confined, he's all right. Like unke upar circumstances doesn't work, like because he's strong from inside.
Yeah, even at the time,
So
I mean, we are diverging off of the conversation, but even at the time of his, when they were coming to take him, those videos,
yeah,
I watched it as a motivational piece. Okay, how can you be sitting like that when there's
yeah,
50 people marching towards you and you know they're gonna break the glass and get in and take me? I don't
yeah,
think I would be able to keep my calm like he did. Where there would be
exactly.
very rare people in the world who would be able to. That is nerves of
Yeah,
steel. How do you not get effective from that? It's absolutely
exactly.
unbelievable. So, well,
Bilkul.
some people are
So
like that.
uh, in
That's
fact,
the case.
I was reading his book, his autobiography, and in that he says that in the beginning, when there were reporters would come to him when he was very young and he had newly joined the cricket team, so then they would personally attack him, like in terms of his personal life, and he was like, I would go after the reporters and I would just hit them,
Yeah,
like he was so reactive.
yeah.
But no one knows how much violence and how much hard stages it took for him to be this calm that he is now.
Makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
It's a very good way to explain that because
yeah,
we are what we are because of our experiences in life,
exactly.
not because of what happened around us.
Yeah, what we do explains who we are actually.
Yeah, and what we do repeatedly as well.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's why a lot of times we keep on thinking about things that we'll be able to do better in our mind, but until we keep on doing that, repeating that, they वो बोलते हैं ना,
Yeah,
what is it called? Rinse and repeat. So
yeah,
that is the formula of success as well. You keep on doing it until you become best at it.
exactly. Practice makes the man perfect.
Yeah, yeah,
So it is important कि consistently किसी चीज को किया जाए.
absolutely. I think that this should wrap it up, right?
Yeah. So
So
we talked about things.
you if you
So
please
the
conclude, I would like you to just say a few lines so we get to conclude.
yeah. So just to wrap it up, we talked about three things. Number one, power of words. We have to talk positively to ourselves and to other people. And for instance, if someone comes to us and criticizes us, you don't have to go down to their level because they are operating from a lower frequency.
Frequency.
And so if you react, you are going to give your energy to them. So you don't have to do that. Be mindful of when people criticize you and try to pull your legs, and use powerful good words for yourself throughout and for other people. The second thing we talked about was training the unconscious or subconscious mind. And that is important because if you want to change your current state, if you have anxiety, you have depression, you have other mental health issue or any other, if you have negative thinking pattern. So for that you have to do some positive affirmation stuff, the last thing at night before sleeping and the first thing in the morning. You have to repeat the same thing, just so that you can create some newer pathways in your mind and provide strength to the new synaptic connections in your brain.
Right.
Then, and for that you have to have a strong willpower, and you have to be at cause for that. You don't have to be at effect, because when you're at effect you will be blaming, shaming, and giving just justifications for your state.
Yeah.
And the third thing that we discussed was the law of attraction. So the power of words and the things that we discussed in reprogramming the subconscious mind, they both help you in creating the life that you desire. And for that you have to constantly personally work on yourself and keep giving yourself the positive information. And one thing that I would want to add here is that most of people, they do mindless scrolling 24/7 on their phone, and they watch negative stuff. And so you are actually getting negative things throughout the day. So how are you going to change? You're not going to change. You only change when you give yourself positive things. You can watch different lectures on positivity, neuroplasticity, neuroscience,
One little
and change your
input that
life.
I have here is, it's not just the
Sure.
negative stuff that you keep on scrolling. It's sometimes you end up scrolling on profiles and pages of motivation related pages.
Yeah,
It does not help looking at quotations and motivational speeches. It does not help until you actually stand up, do what is required in order to do what you need to
exactly.
do and get the certain results. You can watch it all day long for the next
Yeah,
10 months, 12 months. You're not going to get anywhere. So because it's not going to work. ये तो सारा घूम फिर के वहीं पे ही आता है कि हम लोगों को वैसे भी मैक्सिमम जो अपनी वो कट डाउन करना है उसके ऊपर कि टेक्नोलॉजी इज देयर टू हेल्प अस with our lives and to
yeah,
help us grow and evolve, not to rely on it altogether.
ex-
So I think it's very
exactly.
important that we do that.
Yeah, so regarding the thing that you mentioned, I think it does affect a little. क्योंकि अगर आप you're watching the news, तो उसमें frequency आपको negative मिल रही है. You're getting lower and lower in your energy. But if you're watching a motivational video or anything
हाँ,
like that,
agreed.
आपका hormones जो है ना, hormones, the feel good hormones,
Yeah.
they go up. And then I think उसमें आपका physiology, emotional state change होके you can do something better. It's better than watching news, I think.
Agreed. I was just talking about
Yeah,
overdoing it is all.
yeah.
Otherwise, I've just I follow so many people and I just go. Sometimes मैंने save की हुई reels में when I'm feeling low, I go back onto that reel and watch, then say it again and I repeat it in my mind कि यार मैंने वो सुना था, मुझे वो याद करना है, मैं भूल गया. I'm just sort of losing my direction. So I should just go back and
Okay.
listen to them talk. So मैं बहुत सारी
Who do
speeches.
you watch most of the time? Like, who are your mentors in that area?
Sorry, what's that?
Like the
Who do
videos
I
you
follow?
watch?
To be very honest,
Okay.
there are so many that I wouldn't even remember the names, and they wouldn't be
Okay.
जो चार पांच फेमस वाले हैं ना, मैं उनका तो शायद आता होगा, but it could be anybody. एक जैसे मैं आपको बताता हूँ, there is this guy called जाकिर खान, इंडियन
Okay.
बंदा है वो,
Yeah.
स्टैंड
I
अप
watch him.
कॉमेडियन. अब शायद पता नहीं कितने लोग जानते नहीं, लेकिन मुझे वो बहुत इंस्पायर करता है
Yeah.
because he's so articulate with bringing out his thoughts. मुझे तो बातों को अपनी लफ्ज ढूंढने में ही आधा घंटा लगता है. मैं तो वो उसी में फंसा रहता हूँ कि मैं समझाऊं कैसे दूसरे बंदे को. सो वो
Exactly.
से बताता है बंदा और उसे उसकी बातें याद रहती हैं एंड इट्स सो इंस्पिरेशनल द वे ही सीज लाइफ एंड एवरीथिंग. और वो
Yeah.
मोटिवेशन कम्स आउट ऑफ इट. इस तरह के बहुत सारे लोग हैं. सो आई डोंट थिंक देयर इज एनी पर्टिकुलर पर्सन दैट आई वुड से कि आई
Okay.
फॉलो. दूसरा अभी लेटेस्ट जो जो ट्रेंडिंग में है, एंड्रयू टेट. वट
Yeah.
एवर इज एजेंडा में भी और या क्या है, वो एक अलग
Yeah.
है कि वो कहाँ जाके चीजें कब व्हेन इज दिस इमेज गोना टर्न एंड हम बोलेंगे यार ये वो नहीं है जो ये दिखता है.
Yeah.
जो भी जो होता है यूजुअली व्हाट हैपेंस इज देयर इज अ वेरी गुड कोट ऑफ फ्रॉम अ मूवी बैटमैन, डार्क नाइट राइजेस आई थिंक, और सम मूवी. इसी सीरीज की कोई मूवी है, उसमें आई थिंक डार्क नाइट राइजेस है, जिसमें वो बोलता है कि यू आइदर डाई अ हीरो और wait long enough to become a villain or something like that. So
Okay.
ये सारी चीजें हैं. So I think
Oh,
on that note, we just conclude. I'd say thank
yeah,
you
yeah.
for taking out
Thank
time from your busy schedule. And
yeah,
today must have been difficult for you for being not free to do this. I'd say thank you. People like you are the life of this program, this podcast. And as long as you guys keep on participating, I think this will keep on going, and we are getting more and more viewers as the time is moving forward. और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा
yeah,
viewers messages आने शुरू हो गए हैं. और I'm not totally relying on paid side of the things. Mostly I am, but
yeah,
mostly organic के ऊपर मैं ज़्यादा काम करता हूँ कि organically लोग आए, rather than मैं उनको
yeah,
ad दिखा के लेकर आऊँ अपने पास, because that is again not the objective. The objective is कि जो लोग ढूंढ रहे हैं इस information को, they should be able to
yeah.
find us and get this
That's
information.
great.
So thank you very much. And to rest of the people who are listening and watching, I will be catching up with you on another topic in the next episode. Before we end this, Eamon, would you just show the victory sign so we get the balloons pop up again?
Yeah, yeah,
Come on. Here we go. All right. Thank you very much. Take care.
yeah. Thanks for
Everyone.
inviting me. I had a great time too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care. Allah.